Today we'll be dealing with exercise 6 from our Mind Action series. And I'd like to encourage you all to check that you are registered on Siavula. Some questions have come up with regards to how long and how much you cannot replace your actual maths lesson, our team's lesson. You cannot replace that with Siavula, just so that you know. You also cannot not do work from Mind Action series and only do work from Siavula. Siavula is a great platform for plus minus 20 minutes worth of exercises on your current maths curriculum. You can also go back and you can revisit certain concepts that you dealt with earlier this year through Siavula, or you can work ahead and challenge yourself and do a little bit more as the exercises become a little bit more difficult. So that's the beauty of that platform. You also will receive an assignment, very much like solving an equation like this. A few questions, no more than about plus minus 20 minutes. It just gives me an indication of your accuracy level and your ability to do the work. So today, let's make a video to share so that we can understand how to deal with this important aspect. It's still within equations, but the distributive law is something that we will have to apply the minute we see a value, a bracket, that indicates product, okay? We have to do product first. So when we look at this, we're going to first make sure that we understand that product has to be multiplied into, it has to occur with every single term into the bracket, meaning you can draw an arrow saying 5 times x is 5x, arrow 5 times minus 1 is minus 5 equals 4 times x is 4x, and back to the 4 times minus 2 is minus 8. So please remember, I think I've mentioned this before when we dealt with the distributive law. If you see a binomial in that bracket, your result is a binomial. A binomial of 2 terms, your result would be 2 terms. Right. Now I'm going to keep my positive 5x here, but I'm going to move this positive 4x by making it a negative 4x. And I'm going to keep my existing minus 8 on that side, but I'm going to scoot over this negative 5 and it becomes positive 5 the minute it crosses this equal sign. Right, now I've got all my x's together. 5x minus 4x leaves me with 1x. You don't have to write the 1. Minus 8 plus 5 leaves me with minus 3. And that's it. X is equal to negative 3. Right, that one was quite simple. Just do what we do on the left-hand side to the right-hand side. I'm using the shortcut, as you've noticed. So I simply look at what I have here, the negative 5. It changes to a positive 5 when it crosses the equal sign. Very important. And so you will do for every constant. So we've got 5, that's now number 4. 5 bracket m minus 1 minus bracket 1 minus 2m. Close your bracket is equal to 8. Okay, so we have a lot of product here, so let's go. 5 times m is 5m. 5 times minus 1 is minus 5. Right, done. Now I have a negative 1 that will influence my next bracket. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Make sure you check your sign. Negative 1 times negative 2m is a positive 2m is equal to 8. Great. Let's find all our values with our variable. I already have 5m, that's positive on this side. I'm not moving it. I'm just grouping my terms. I haven't moved anything across the equal sign yet. I already have a positive 8 on my right-hand side. It stays 8. But I go and I find my -1 and my -5 on the left-hand side. I bring it across. It becomes +5 +1 on my right-hand side. That's how I keep my balance in my equation. Now I have 5m plus 2m is 7m. Great. And then I do my arithmetic. 8 plus 5 is 13 plus 1 is 14. Right. I have not yet solved for m, so I need to go one step further. Let's undo 7 times m by division. So divide by 7 on the left-hand side, divide by 7 on the right-hand side, and I have m is equal to 2. Right, that one is done. Let's look at another one. Let's look at, okay, these were from exercise A. And now let's look at exercise B. So exercise B for some of them. Right. Again, my distributive law, very important. I have 3. Okay, that's number 2, exercise 6, number B. 3, open bracket 1, minus 2x, close my bracket, is equal to x minus 8. Right, so let's make sure we understand how to do the distributive law again. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times minus 2x is a minus 6x. Keep my equal sign. Here's my equal sign underneath each other. And now I just simply say my x minus 8 because that's what I have there. Okay, let's look at where all my x's are. I've got my 6 minus 6x here and I have x on that right-hand side. So I'm going to work with my negatives. I don't mind working with negatives. You should become comfortable with that. But because this one is moving over, this is a plus x right here, but we're moving it across the equal sign, so it becomes negative x. Remember, that's 1x, okay? Now I look at what do I already have on my right-hand side. I always start with what I already have because those signs stay exactly the same. And I go and I fetch whatever else I need. That's a little plus 3 there. Now it becomes minus 3, right? Then negative 6x, negative x gives me a negative 7x. I'm not multiplying here. I am just becoming more negative. Same on the other side. Minus 8, minus 3, we just become more negative, negative 11. Right. Now, we should not be scared if we see that certain values are not going to give us whole numbers or nicely simplified fractions. So we just ask ourselves, how do I undo this negative 7 that's in front of x? But how I undo it will affect my right-hand side as well. So if I divide by this negative 7, the result will be a positive x. And that's what I want. I want to solve for x. But what I do on the left-hand side, I have to do on the right-hand side. And I get a positive because here I have a negative divided by a negative. Now I get a positive 11 over 7. Or if you'd like to write it as a mixed number, 7 over 7 would be 1 and 4 over 7. And that's a positive answer here because of this negative divided by negative. What you do here is your aim is to get x as a positive 1x. Right, so don't worry if the answer is not a real, it is a real value. If the answer is not a whole number, that's not really your concern. Right, let's look at number 4. I just need to jot that down here. So just to get a better view of that. Let me just bring that this way. Okay. Okay, I'd like to focus on number 4 now. Number 4 for exercise 6B. Right, we've got a negative 4 bracket 1 minus 2x, close your bracket, equals 3, open bracket 2 minus x plus 1. Okay, once again, we've got that distributive law that's playing a huge role here, but we must watch out for whatever we have in front of the bracket. So I have a negative 4 times 1, negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 2x, positive 8x, equals 3 times 2, 6. 3 times negative x, negative 3x. And this plus 1 right here, that's plus 1. That's got nothing to do with my distributive law. That's just a constant. Now, let's group. I already have a positive 8x here. So I'm going to leave it on my left-hand side. It's an 8x. Let me go fetch all my other x's. From the left-hand side, I bring it over. My equal sign. So from the left-hand side, that negative 3x has to become a positive 3x. Done. Now I look at my constants. What do I already have on my right-hand side? I have a 6 and a plus 1. So I may make it 7 or just write it like that if you want to be safer. And then you go and fetch that other negative 4 right there on your left-hand side. You're bringing it across so it becomes a plus 4. Right, let's get going. Now it's 8x plus 3x. That leaves me with 11x is equal to 6 plus 1 plus 4 is 11. I ask myself, how do I undo the 11? Divide by 11, because you want to get rid of the 11. X is equal to 1. Right, there we go. Let's look at another one. So very important here. I hope the color helps so that you can see how the movement across that equal sign helps you to see what happens to the sign. How do you get your constants on one side and how do you group your x's on the other side? Okay, now let's look at number 10. Number 10. I have a half and then 2 plus 4x is equal to 7. X minus 1 minus 2. So now we need to be careful because we are multiplying by a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just write down an intermediate step purely so that we can just see what is actually happening in the world of multiplication when we work with a fraction. So this one's really important because it's based on our rules of working with fractions. So this half right here, I'm going to multiply it with this 2, which means I'm multiplying by 2 over 1, with 2 over 1. This plus is this plus right here. That's the same plus that I have there. Then I go back to my half, and I'm multiplying that half with 4x over 1, okay? Here is my equal sign, that's the same equal sign I had from the beginning. Try and stay like that. Right, so what I have, in fact, is now I can cancel out that 2 with that 2, and that gives me 1. I keep my plus, like I already had a plus here. I have to still keep the plus. And then I go and see what's happening here with a half times 4x. 2 cancels with 4, leaving me with 2. That leaves me with 2x over 1 is equal to. And now on this side, I'll just do my product as normal because it's a whole number times x. 7x, whole number times minus 1, minus 7. Keep this minus 2. It's just part of your equation. It's got nothing to do with the product. Right, now we are set to go. Let's look for all our x's. That's already on this side. I have 2x. What else do I have? Another 7x, but that 7x is on my right-hand side, and I want to bring it to the left-hand side. It's a positive 7 there, so it becomes negative 7x here is equal to, right, let me go find my constants. I have a minus 7, I have a minus 2, minus 7, minus 2 remains, but I go and I fetch this plus 1 right here, that becomes minus 1. And now let me finish up my sum, my equation. So 2x minus 7x becomes minus 5x. Watch out for those signs, please. Minus 7, minus 2 is minus 9, minus 1 is minus 10. Right, this looks like a good one. So I want to undo the product of minus 5. So I divide by minus 5. What I do on that side, I do on that side. And that cancels out. That's why we apply this law. There we go. And I have a lovely x is equal to negative 10 divided by negative 5 becomes a positive 2. There we go. Right, so there are a couple of those from exercise 6 where we apply our distributive law. And I encourage you to use these brackets and use these arrows in order to help you see what you are doing with each bracket. Look at the binomial in the bracket. The result is a binomial. And use your highlighter to color code your terms, especially like terms, adding your x values and then separating your constants so that you can keep them on your right-hand side.